Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Why Shia remains marginalized within many Muslim communities in the UK, Canada, the US, and even Australia. Today, we'll ask some questions and we try to understand the social political effects of why Shia remain a minority among the Muslim communities. Muslim communities in the UK, Canada, the US, and Australia presents an interesting sociological and political question. While Shia constitute one of the two major branches of Islam and represent hundreds of millions of Muslims worldwide, it often occupies a marginal position within Muslim institutions and public discourse in many Western countries. So, this phenomenon cannot basically be explained only through theological differences. Sunni, Umari, and Shia Muslims have coexisted throughout Islamic history, and doctrinal disagreement alone do not account for the relative isolation of Shia communities in many Western societies. Rather, the marginalization of Shia in many English-speaker Muslim community in Anglophone nations is closely linked to geopolitical development, demographic realities, and widespread association of Shia with the Islamic Republic of Iran. In practice, many Muslims in the West encounter Shia not as a diverse religious tradition, but as a phenomenon viewed through the lens of the Iranian foreign policy and regional conflict. This perception has been reinforced by tension in West Asia and South Asia, by the backgrounds of immigrant Muslim populations, and in some cases by the inability of certain Shia institutions to clearly distinguish religious identity from political loyalty. So the first point, we're going to discuss about the demographic foundations of Western Muslim communities. To understand the perception of Shia, one must first analyze the composition of Muslim populations in the United Kingdom, Canada, the United States of America, and Australia. The majority of Muslims in this country originate from mainly Sunni backgrounds. Large communities have roots in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Turkey, Somalia, Egypt, North Africa, Afghanistan, and various Arab countries. As a result, the institutional system in the West and the foundation of Islam, such as mosque, or charity or religious leadership, have historically been dominated by Umari tradition. Shia communities certainly exist and have grown significantly over recent decades. However, they generally remain the minority within broader Muslim populations. Consequently, Sunni interpretation often shape what is considered a mainstream understanding of Islam within these societies, and especially in the UK and in Canada. This demographic reality influences how religious differences are perceived and discussed. So in second point, the lasting impact of the Iranian revolution will be discussed. So, the most significant turning point in modern perceptions of Shia was the Iranian Revolution of 1979. The establishment of the Islamic Republic transformed Iran into the first modern state explicitly governed according to the Shia revolutionary ideology, or a branch of Shia called Baathism or Wilayat al-Faqih. The new leadership presented its revolution not merely as a national event, but as a model intended to inspire Muslims beyond Iran's border. This approach generated concern among numerous governments throughout the Middle East. Sunni majority state increasingly viewed Iranian influence as both ideological and strategy. Over time, regional rivalries between Iran and its opponents became one of the defining features of Middle Eastern politics. As this rivalry intensified, Shia itself often became associated with Iranian geopolitical ambitions, regardless of whether individual Shia believers share those political goals. This association will eventually influence Muslim communities in Western countries as well than non-Muslim living in the West. So on the third point, the reduction of Shia to Iran is one of the most significant consequences of this development, is the tendency to equate Shia with Iran. In many Muslim in the West, discussion about Shia quickly becomes discussion about Iranian politics. Myself have been witness that many times I had to answer about what Iran is doing. The religious diversity of the Shia world is often overlooked. This perception ignores important realities. Iraq contains some of the most influential Shia hawza in the world, particularly in Najaf and Karbala. Lebanon possesses a large and historical significant Shia population. Major Shia communities. Azerbaijan is 95% Shia. Bahrain, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, and even Saudi Arabia and parts of East Africa. Furthermore, many Shia scholars reject or question the Iranian doctrine of the Wilayat al-Faqih Mutlaqa, the political theory upon which the Islamic Republic is based. Nevertheless, these distinctions frequently receive little attention. Public debates often portray Shia as synonymous with Iranian state ideology. As a result, non-political Shia communities can become associated with geopolitical agendas. They're neither created nor necessary support. So on the 4 points, I'll discuss about the influence of Middle Eastern conflict that has been infiltrated in the Western Muslim community. Western Muslim communities are not isolated from development in West Asia. Conflict in Iraq, in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and recently Iran have shaped religious perceptions among diaspora populations. Political narratives originating from the region often continue to influence communities living thousands of miles away. For many Umari Muslims and Sunni Muslims, this question of the Iranian involvement in this conflict have reinforced concern regarding the political use of religion. Whether these concerns are fully justified or not, they contribute to a broader perception of that Shia institutions may function as extensions of Iranian influence throughout the Iranian government. This perception affects how Shia organizations are viewed by both Muslims and non-Muslims. Indeed, it is one of the most complicated things to do today to dissociate from the Iranian government. So debates about theology frequently become intertwined with debates about geopolitics and national security. In the fifth point, the responsibility of some Shia institutions. An honest analysis must also acknowledge the roles played by some Shia organizations themselves. Certain religious institutions in Western countries maintain strong ideological, financial, educational, or symbolic connection with Iranian religious authorities. In some cases, political figures such as Al-Khomeini or Al-Khamenei associated with the Islamic Republic are presented as religious role models and sources of spiritual authority. For outside observers, such practice blur the distinction between religious devotions and political allegiance. This situation strengthens the belief among some Umari Muslims that Shia is inseparable, it's non-separable from the political project of the Iranian state. Even when this perception is inaccurate, visible association can reinforce existing suspicions, especially in London. Many Shia Muslims who have no political connection to Iran may therefore find themselves judged according to assumptions they do not share. And that's the big problem because of these so-called preachers. On point number 6, I would like just to develop the concern about foreign influence and national security. The questions of foreign influence have become increasingly important in Western democracies. Governments in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in Australia, and the US closely monitor attempts by foreign states to exert influence through religious, educational, and cultural institutions. Within this context, Iran's effort to project influence abroad have unfortunately attract significant control. Some policymakers argue that Iranian government occasionally employs religious networks as instrument of soft power. Critics further contend that Tehran seeks of export aspect of its revolution beyond its border. And we can hear from preachers and so-called scholars that basically go along what the Iranian agenda is. This is a very serious national security issue because they align with the Iranian state interest and not necessarily the interest of the Shia population. As a result, distinction between ordinary Shia believers, independent Shia scholars, and institutions linked to political agendas are not always clearly understood. So on the seventh point, I'd like to develop the emergence of an independent Western Shia identity. Based on what Sayyid Mustafa Shirazi Hafidhullah said recently, one of the most important challenges facing Shia communities in Western countries is the development of independent religious identity. A growing number of Shia scholars and intellectuals advocate a model of Shia that is fully integrated into Western democratic societies while remaining faithful to its theological traditions. These voices emphasize citizenship, religious pluralism, interfaith dialogue in the West, and also political independence. This objective is to demonstrate that Shia cannot be reduced to any single government or any single nationality or geopolitical project. We have a diversity of views among the Shia community. The success is this effort may prove essential to the future development of Shia communities in the West. Distinctly British, Canadian, American, or Australian, even a Kiwi, Shia identity could help separate religious belief from the political tension of the Middle East. So, my conclusion is to put Shia as a marginal, small community within many Muslim communities in the United Kingdom, in Canada, the United States, and Australia cannot be explained only by theological disagreements. It is largely a result of demographic realities, regional rivalries, and the enduring association of Shia with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The dominance of Umari institution within Western Muslim communities, combined with decades of Middle Eastern conflict, has encouraged many Muslims to view Shia through a geopolitical rather than purely religious lens. At the same time, some Shia institutions have allowed to develop an independent view of Shia identity among the Western society, and to clearly remove the connection with the Iranian government. The challenge moving forward is whether Shia community can establish a clearly independent religious identity that distinguishes faith from state interest. If successful, such an evolution may allow Shia to be understood not as a foreign political project, but one of the many legitimate expression of Islam within a modern Western society. I wish you a great dua for Aza tonight, and I pray Allah, inshallah, to get closer to the Ahlul Bayt, and inshallah that we will see very soon our Imam Sahib al-Zaman Ajallah Fajr Sharif. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.